Good morning. Welcome to my sweet home living. I hope you didn't give up on me this morning. I am running so awkwardly behind today. I'm so sorry. I've had everything under the sun that could go wrong with getting here to you guys this morning. So come on in here. I hope that we are connected. There are some crazy things going on, and I have to do a little extra step to get us shared over into the Craft on the Clock group. I tell you, Facebook sure doesn't make it easy on us anymore. Just when we think it's like, and then they change something else. So I am like frazzled to the max this morning. I hope that you all can come on in and join me this morning for a fun little easy decoration that you can just stuff in your cupboard or stuff in your shelves, but it's going to be really cute, and it's just using paper and scrap wood, you guys. So come on in, and I'm going to get us shared over to the Craft on the Clock group because Facebook has taken away my auto share option. I'm having all kinds of technicality issues this morning. Come on in, Miss Cindy. How are you? Yes, I'm almost embarrassed to tell you everything that's gone on this morning. I don't even have half my eyes on this morning. I was just kind of, doing my thing this morning, getting things ready or prepared, or so I thought. And, I went to, I was in there, blow drying my hair, fixing to fix my hair, y'all like my grammar, my Kentucky grammar. I'm fixing to do my hair. I looked down at the clock and it was like 8:50 something. And I thought, wait a minute. I don't know why in my head I had like 9:30 in my head that I was going to be going live. And I was like, oh shoot. I got to be on live in just like a few minutes. So running here, I didn't even have my camera set up. Oh, I'm just giving y'all behind the scenes bloopers this morning. Came in here, I had my lights on my table and everything ready. Didn't have my camera attached, and if you all only knew how I have my camera attached, you would just find it completely hysterical. But I didn't have my light umbrellas on, and so I reach over here in this corner behind me to get my light umbrellas, and I grabbed them, and then all of a sudden I started smelling something really hot, and I was like, something's burning. Well, I've had the iron on this morning. I had the blow dryer on. I was like, what could it be? Something's burning bad. I'm smelling it all of a sudden. You see what's right there, right? Well, I leaned over in that corner to grab my umbrellas, my light umbrellas that are stacked in that little corner. And when I did, my hair leaned over with me and I think caught that candle right there. Didn't catch on fire, but I think I may have some singed spots in my hair. Good morning, Miss Joanne. I am a hot mess this morning. I'm telling you, just a hot mess. There's just no way around it. There's no excuses. It's just a hot mess Friday. Good morning, Miss Cindy. And then, of course, to boot, my printer was acting a fool this morning. Real life around here today. Welcome to my real life this morning. A little more frazzled than usual. So come on in. I'm like roasting and I feel like literally like a hot mess. Okay, we're gonna get this show on the road around here. All right. I've been wanting to do something like this, and of course I'll share with you how my plan was, and of course, see my microphone knot, my cord's all in a knot. I was like, come on, microphone, are you kidding me right now? Why are you tangled? It's never tangled, but of course, when I'm in a hurry, it's like, in 50 million knots. It feels like a Monday. Thank you, Miss Joy. Okay, we're just gonna roll with it. I can't make any promises. I had this really cute project in my hand, and then when it comes time to get my printer to work this morning, it wanted to just give me fits. And so I'll walk you through what was in my head versus what you see on the camera today, and we might have to do a rewind or a redo on another day. That's right. Thank goodness it is Friday. Let me scoot my table without knocking over anything, possibly. I'm shifting my lights a little bit. I want you all to see what we're doing. Good morning, Miss Sherry. Good morning, Miss Tony. Hello, Miss Darlia. I have some scrap wood, and I was really hoping to find these really cute oval frames that I have had for like, I don't know, probably a year or two. But you know how that goes when you're looking for something like that, you can't find it, but when you don't care about it, it's like in your way everywhere. Yes, so those beautiful oval frames are somewhere in this house, and of course we've moved and boxed and unboxed and all the things, so I can't find those pretty oval frames that I was wanting to use today. So plan B is scrap wood. So I'm going to show you how to use some scrap wood. We all have scrap wood, and I don't know if you're like me, you can't stand to throw scrap wood away, so that's why I thought, well, okay, this is the next best thing. So let's use some scrap wood. And I am wanting to, let me think about this for a second, just for a second, because this didn't go the way I planned. This could be a dilemma. I got another plan. Okay, I am wanting to create some primitive, like presidential, like silhouettes to kind of stash in my little vignettes for patriotic type decor, right? And I see them all over the place, and I was like, those would be so cute. Like, why? I need to come up with something like that, right? And so that's what I'm going to do today. I am going to use, I'm not using this wood block, this one, or am I? I see I've changed my mind about a bazillion times today. So let me show you. I've just printed this George Washington silhouette out on my printer, on regular paper. My plan was to print this out on fabric. However, my printer decided today it didn't want to cooperate with me and print on my fabric. I was like, okay, fine, have your way. I'll deal with you later. So ideally, I'm going to print this on muslin fabric, okay, and coffee stain it. That's what I'm going to do. And after I get off today, I'm probably going to redo that and do it on the back side. But I'm going to hold this up to the light. I have a window over here. Actually, I have a light right here. I'm going to hold this up to the light, and I want to put my block behind it to make sure that the sizing of my printout is going to look the way I want it to look. That's kind of just a little hack that if I don't know what size, if you have an odd size shaped surface, this is kind of a good little hack to do. So I've held this up to the light, and when I hold it up to the light, the shadow of my block will shine through. You all can't see it on here because I don't have a light behind. Oh, there you go. A little bit there. And I can see if the sizing of my printout is going to fit just right. Okay? See that outline of the shape there? And that kind of tells me if it's going to fit. I'm good. So this is the one that I'm going to use. And all this is going to be is a shelf sitter I can tuck, or a cupboard tuck. Have you ever heard of those? Kind of like if you hear like bowl fillers. Well, cupboard tucks are kind of like another version of something that you can tuck away in little tiny spaces and to add to your decor. At some point, yes, Miss Shannon, if you go to my video library, and I can reshare the link for you. I can find the link for you. Go to my video library, and there will be a video. You'll kind of have to scroll back. And it's titled, all my videos are titled to help you find replays easier for that specific reason. It's called How to Print on Fabric. Okay. Go to my videos tab on Facebook and scroll through the all videos section and go through, and you'll find a title. I believe I have a red shirt on that may help if you see the image of the video. That will kind of help you find that video even easier. But it's called How to Print on Fabric, and I can share it. I can go back and find the link and share it with you later too. But once you do it, it's usually pretty easy. Usually. Oh gosh, I tell you what. It is upside down today. So let me think about this. I know I want my block to be black because I don't want my block to kind of really stand out. And this chalk paint is just about empty, but it's so thick. Look at that. Look how thick that is. I need some water, and I do not have water, so the next best thing is coffee grunge. Let's just add a little bit of coffee grunge to thin it down. How are you? How are you, Miss Irma, Miss Tony? How are you, ladies? Let me add just a little bit of... No, I don't want the sludge. I just want some of the liquid. Okay. Well, I'm going to have to pour it because my sponge brush has a bunch of the sludge on it. I don't really want the sludge necessarily. I just need a little bit of moisture. And didn't bring paper towels to the table either today. Boy, I am batting 1,000 today. All right, bear with me while I thin this paint down for a minute. This is crazy pants. I've never had chalk paint get this thick. Okay, let's just give this a quick paint, and it's like going to be super quick to dry because this wood is pretty dry, so that's even better. All right, I love this chalk paint because it has really good coverage, which could be because why it's so thick. Good morning, Miss Dee Dee. Oh my goodness, freezing and blurring. Hang on. Okay. Maybe that will work better. You all let me know. That should be better now. Of course, my lighting is funky now. All right, we'll see if that works. Sorry about that. I had it connected to my Wi-Fi earlier, and I bet that's why it was skipping. You all let me know. Of course, my comments have stopped scrolling. I'm telling you, it's been... Facebook needs to go to bed and can wake up all over again today. And so do I. You never get the sludge? Really? At the bottom of your jar, you never get the grubby, the sludge is what I call it. Let me use this piece of wood to set this down on. Then, are you adding cinnamon? Because cinnamon, I don't know what is going on. The cinnamon is what adds the sludge at the bottom. I'm checking your all's comments because it does seem like we're still maybe having some technical issues going on. Better? Okay, great, Anita. I'm just a little dark. I don't know if it looks dark for you or if it's just on my end, but it won't let me adjust the lighting once I start. So we're just kind of at the mercy of Facebook this morning, and hopefully things will clear up. All right, I'm just giving this a real quick coat of black chalk paint. And by the way, if you didn't know, this is a special segment for the Craft on the Clock group because today our Fun Friday theme is all things black. And so the color black will take the stage of every DIY craft and project that you see today that is streaming over there in that group. And we have creators lined up today. Our schedule goes all the way up until 6 p.m. Central Time tonight. And if you miss this and see it after the fact, you can go back to the group for 24 hours. These videos will remain pinned in the featured section of the group. And if you're going there beyond the 24-hour time period, just search the group for #black. And that will pull up the craft projects and related photos pertaining to today's Fun Friday theme. How about that? We try to make it very easy and user-friendly for you to find things after, because we know how cluttered Facebook can be sometimes, and so we try to make it easy for you to find things. Okay, I have no towels at the table today. Good morning, Miss Tina from upstate New York. Welcome, Wendy from Eastern North Carolina. Good morning, Miss Susan. Okay, we are going to, I do not have my dryer. We might really be just winging this today. Okay, while we are waiting for that to dry, I think it'll dry just fine on its own while we're doing this. I am going to take my coffee grunge. Now, if you are new to me and you're like, what in the world is that nasty looking stuff in the jar? It is water, instant coffee, cinnamon, and vanilla. Okay, I mix it all together, and I almost use it like, think of it like a stain, or I don't know, it's a mix between a stain and what is that? Not paint necessarily, but like a glaze, sort of. Okay, so I'm going to take this, and I just have a sponge brush, and I'm going to brush it over my print. Okay, because I want that bright white background. I want it gone. I want it to look like old paper. Okay, that's the look I'm going for, and I'm just going to go over it and let that soak in. Okay, I am going to try to make my brush strokes go all in the same direction. I don't think it'll matter much, but just in case. All right, so you see how it turned that ordinary white paper into something that looks really old. Okay, now how can that is going to have to dry. Let me grab my dryer real quick, because I have a feeling if I don't, we are going to regret it. Not to mention we're on a time crunch, so I'm grabbing it. Good morning, Miss Darla. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're here. I'm so sorry you found me on such a frazzled Friday. I'm usually a lot more put together than this, so please don't base your opinion on what you see today. You can watch some of my replays or come and see me tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. and I'll be put together, a lot more put together tomorrow morning, hopefully. Good morning, Miss Paula. Hey, Miss Pam, good morning. How are you? All right, so bear with me. I'm going to unplug. I've only got 2 plugins over here. Hang with me. Y'all are getting to see like the crazy behind the scenes photos today. The bloopers, if you will. We had to unplug one light to plug in the extension cord and the heat. Frazzle Dazzle Friday. That's what it needs to be called. Oh, Miss Deb. Well, I'm telling you, I don't know. I'm kind of a hot mess this morning. I don't know. It's just not working out for me today. Oh, thank you so much, Miss Deborah. I appreciate you, friend. Okay. And there's tons of different ways you could do this. This is just by using something that I already had in my stash and making it without spending anything. We all have your day. You're right, Darla. We're all allowed a frazzle dazzle day every once in a while. Well, mine is definitely today. And it's been a doozy. So I must have been way overdue for a frazzle dazzle day. You're right, KT. Oh, nothing is perfect. Nothing is perfect. All right, we're going to dry this chalk paint real quick because I do want to kind of speed this along. Good morning, Miss Tina. Would you repeat the mix? Yes, for the coffee grunge. Okay. If you want to get like a little post-it note or something to write it down. A cup of hot water. A half a cup of instant coffee crystals. I usually get mine at like Dollar General or just get the Great Value brand at Walmart, wherever. Just go cheap with all of these ingredients. You can go really cheap. I said a half a cup of instant coffee crystals. Then 2 tablespoons of cinnamon and 2 tablespoons of vanilla. Okay. Y'all hear my dryer? It's acting crazy. We must be having a frazzle dazzle Friday too. Okay, I've got one little wet spot over here. And that's all you do. You mix it together, put it in a jar. And I store it in the refrigerator when I'm not using it. Good morning, Miss Jackie. And then whenever I'm ready to use it, I just take it out. Sometimes I will warm it up in the microwave a little bit just to kind of knock the cold off of it. And sometimes that helps it redistribute the cinnamon at the bottom, because the cinnamon does not dissolve, it settles. Okay, it makes like a little goopy mixture at the bottom, and it will look really disgusting. But it will smell totally amazing. Good morning, Miss Pat. I saw your mirror this morning. Okay, so this is what it will look like. See that kind of slime that settles at the bottom? That's the goopy cinnamon that settles at the bottom. But then kind of on the surface, the liquid wants to separate from the slime. And so you can kind of use it as a two-part mixture. You can use just the slime, the grudge, the sludge is what I call it usually. Or you can use just the liquid that separates. Or you can shake it up really good and use it as a complete one and all mixture. If you want a lot of cinnamon speckles and a lot of cinnamon attached to your surface, then shake it up really good and redistribute that cinnamon sludge into the mixture, and then you can have it. But there's a lot of depth to how you can use just a simple mixture like this. I also use this mixture and mix it with some white school glue, like Elmer's school glue, and I do the same thing and put it together and sort of like make a version of I call it coffee podge. But if you're familiar with like Mod Podge or different kind of decoupage medium liquids that you apply to sort of like glue something onto a surface, this is what I use. And I use a, what is it, a 2-to-1 or a 3-to-1? I can't remember. And sometimes, most of the time, honestly, I don't even measure. I just pour a bunch of school glue into an old pickle jar, and then I add some of the coffee grunge into it until I get a good consistency. You don't want it to be too watery, because it will kind of it'll make it will run too much, is what I'm going to say. You want to have more of that sticky glue character to it, so that it can kind of use the glue to actually affix whatever you're working with onto the surface, if that makes sense. But play with it. How long can you keep the grunge, Marie? Honestly, I don't know. All I do, I mean, I've had this one for at least a month, and as long as you put it away when you're finished, or you can use like distilled water, that will help it last longer. But yeah, I just take a sniff. If it smells funky, I'll throw it out. But if there's nothing growing in it, I just keep using it. So, hey, Miss Elizabeth. Hey, Ramona. So that's what I do, you guys. I'm not saying do as I do, but do what works for you. All right. So we've got the sides and the back of this wood block painted with that black chalk paint. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take this printout. Basic, you can find these all day, every day. If you want this, I can send it to you on my Telegram channel today. But any kind of silhouette, you could even do a silhouette of your grandkids or your children and do the same thing. I think that would be so cool. I'm holding this up to the light again to see where I want this placed. I'm trying to make sure that it's centered most of the way here. Okay, that's where I want it. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. There's a million ways that you can do this. I'm just going to take my rotary cutter and I'm going to cut around the edge. Maybe. Oh, I got to go the other way. So that blade is right up next to my wood block. Now, I know lots of you use like a little sanding block. You could go ahead and decoupage it onto your block and then sand off the excess around the edges. But I know my sanding block is buried over there in the drawer, and I'm like, probably not going to make it over there to get that out. So I'm just using what I got at my fingertips. And I know you guys completely understand that. When we're crafting, we just kind of use what we have. And that's what good crafters do, you guys. We use what we have. If you just need a break from the real world and just want to escape, just come up with a little project and create. Who cares if you end up using it? Who cares if you end up not liking it? Just get creative. Just get creative. Okay, so that's what I have for the front. Now, I will say I want a little bit of a border, and I'm not sure how I'm going to achieve that, but we're going to work on it. So let's use, I'm going to use the coffee podge to attach this. I was just shaking it up because that school glue and the coffee grunge wants to separate. But once you redistribute it, shake it, that's what it looks like. Okay. And if it's too watery, then just add some more school glue. That's all you gotta do. Now, I'm gonna put this on. I really wouldn't have to use the coffee podge for this. You could just use plain Mod Podge and do whatever, but this is what I have handy, so it's not going to show right here. But whenever you apply that coffee podge over the top of something, over the top of the wood or the paper, it gives you that instant vintage effect without having to add anything else. So you kind of cut down some of the processes. Pongo, stop. Kind of cut down some of the extra steps that you would have to do normally. So, all right. Okay. Let's see. I'm just smoothing that down because I know that wood wants to soak up that coffee podge. But I want to make sure that my paper gets enough of that coffee podge to stick really well. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just taking my thumbs and just pressing down and making sure that gets a good stick. Okay. Now we could leave it as is, just like that. That's already a pretty cool little cupboard tuck. But I think, here's my options. I could... You know what I think I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and add a layer of this coffee podge over top of this because that will kind of seal it and I won't have to worry about it getting stained or anything else. And you'll be able to see this coffee podge take effect. See how when you apply that, you already get another layer of that coffee staining and the cinnamon. And not only the cinnamon, but you get that vanilla smell too. And it's not super strong if you're new to it. It's not super strong. It's just a real subtle smell. And so when you create with this substance, it will make your little areas smell good. It's almost like an air freshener at the same time. Now, I'm going to look at the sides, and if you notice, I have a wrinkle in my paper right there. All I'm going to do is I'm going to take my finger and I'm just going to press that down. And I'm going to hope that it sticks. Now, if it doesn't, I may have to squeeze in some extra coffee podge underneath of that paper so that it sticks really good. Okay, now when I do that, it kind of messes up my lines on where that coffee podge is on there. If you don't want the streaks of your brush, that's okay. You can smear it around, whatever you want to do to make it look the way you want it to look. But I think I'm going to have to, in order to keep my paper from wrinkling, I think I'm going to have to just kind of keep burnishing that. That's just one of those words you've probably heard a lot of people say when they are using transfers. But that's basically just a fancy word for smoothing it down, making sure that it has good contact with the surface. And that's all we're doing. Because as that paper gets wet, it wants to wrinkle. You know how paper does. When it gets wet, it wrinkles up. And that's what's happening. If I had printed this on fabric, I wouldn't be having that problem. Now, it's not wanting to stick right here, so all I'm going to do is I'm just going to raise up that corner, and I'm going to apply some more of that underneath so it will stick really well. There we go. Just kind of work with it a little bit, and if it wrinkles some and you're okay with that, then that's fine too. So I'm going to give that a little bit of a dry. I think we're good. That's what we have right now. Before I dry it, I want to make sure that I don't have like any like fingerprint smudges or anything like that. You can kind of see what that looks like. Now, if you decide that it's too dark for you, if the coffee grunge is too dark, or your coffee pod is too dark, then back off of the instant coffee amount that you put in there, okay? Some brands of instant coffee are darker than others. Some are lighter. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You like the look of it? Good. I hope so. And if you would like me to send you this printout, you can resize it, you can shrink it, you can enlarge it, you know, make it fit your surface. I will do that. I'll send that to you on my Telegram channel today. Thank you, Miss Irma. Now, I think I will add a little bit more of something around the edge because I kind of got to finish it off. I like to kind of have those dark edges. So I think I'm going to add a little bit of dark wax around the edges, I think. Now, how cool would this be if you are one of those type people that have like a seasonal tree, or if you are a maker, like if you do craft shows, you make projects. What you could do, you could get a bunch of wood, right? A bunch of wood. Cut it down. Make little hanging ornaments. You could do like a little, maybe like a 2x3. You know, cut these down into short little blocks. Create little mini hanging ornaments, and these would be darling on a tree, like a little seasonal tree. But I think that that's so simple, and it didn't cost hardly anything, and you could make a lot of them in a batch. And of course, you know, you could do different silhouettes. You could do Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Jefferson. You get the idea, right? You could do different, those silhouettes that are easily recognizable would be perfect for this. So let me grab my dark wax, because I think that will just add the finishing touch on the edges of that, and then it'll be finished. I'm telling you what, my hair is going to be the death of me today. I just snagged my light with my hair. I just need to put it back. I just need to pull it back today. Put it back in the mom bun today. These would be great for tobacco stick trees. Oh, yes, Miss Victoria. Yes, you're right. If you make one of those tobacco stick trees, yes, if you make them small enough, you know, they won't be super heavy. I'll tell you what, you could even use paint stir sticks. Cut them down, and that way they're thinner. Those would probably make the perfect little ornaments, honestly. Yes, indeed. All right. I'm just using a little bit of this dark wax, this Howard's Antiquing wax that Miss Pat from Unique has put me on. She uses this a lot. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the edges, and let me just show you. It's going to give a little bit of that dark edge around. Whoop. And if you get a little bit, don't worry. You can wipe it back. You can see what it's doing. Now, depending on how much you have on your brush, you may want to go back around, add a little bit more. You could also do this same thing with a little bit of that sludge that's at the bottom of your coffee grunge jar, probably. But this wax is a little easier to control the application of. If you want it in a specific spot without it going too far, then that's what I would do. I need something to kind of wipe this back, and I did not bring my paper towels to the table, so I'm going to use a little bit of my cheesecloth that I have here, And all I'm going to do is kind of wipe off the excess. You can kind of see, even if you wipe off the excess, you're still going to see that darkened edge, if you will. All right, see that? It just gives a little extra dimension to it. Now, if you wanted to add a little hanger at the top, you could do that. But I'm using this as a little shelf sitter in with my little primitive drum. I'm probably going to tuck it in back here behind me and use it just like so. Now, the other thing that you could do, let's put this together in a little vignette. We've got like 3 minutes. Actually, I probably won't have time to do that. But tuck this in with a couple other similar style items. A little flag. I always like to start with like a little base, like a towel or napkin. Let's see here. Let's just grab this drum and let's see what it looks like with it. This would look really cute paired with some of your other little vintage patriotic style things. And you can size it to fit whatever you need. If you want different sizes, make different sizes to fit on a shelf or tuck on a table, depending on what you think or where you think you might plug it in. But if you use that coffee grunge, a lot of your colors are going to already kind of coordinate. See the background color of that coordinates with the coffee color of my materials that I used on this drum. And so I already have coordinating pieces that I can mix and match and use to decorate around my home. Oh no, I was supposed to start at 9 o'clock, so I'm done at 9:45. So we got 3 minutes before our next crafter starts over in the group. But I just think that's the easy. We did that pretty quick, and I could have done it even faster, you know. But get creative. And I think these would be darling. If you want to put them in a frame, you could just print on cardstock, grunge up the paper, stick it in a frame, hang them, you know, wherever you have it. But if you have scrap wood, you have paper and a printer, print it off, paint that scrap wood, and there you go, an instant little cupboard tuck or shelf tuck that will go really so cute. And it didn't cost you but just a few pennies. All right. Listen, I love having you here. I will be back tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. with another fun project. And this one will be a little bit more involved, the project that I have tomorrow. And if I can find all the pieces when I'm out later today, it will be a pretty good size project. So stick around tomorrow at 8 a.m. Central, and I'll see you then. Enjoy the rest of today's Fun Friday theme over in the Craft on the Clock group. The theme is all things black. So we did all of our black today on our little shelf tuck here, and I hope that you enjoy the day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.